Hello, everybody. I'm Peggy Beauregard. Welcome to the Nest Egg Builder. We are so thrilled to have Stephen Harms here. Stephen is a LA opera. He's been with the opera and the LA Master Choral since 1998. You could hear him on soundtracks like Despicable Me, Star Wars, Frozen, Mulan, and what he does, I don't know if he does this now, but he's coached over 1,000 people in speech and voice. And before we have him talk about what his passion is around community, I was fortunate enough to have Stephen sing last week to me, Happy Birthday. And we just have the very end, so it'll just be a few, it won't be long.
Okay.
So how do we go? Come on, go.
I don't know.
Go.
You. Happy birthday, dear Padasi and Happy birthday to Wow.
Lovely.
Happy birthday, dear Padasi and
Hear it again. Can't hear you, Peggy. Can't hear you, Peggy.
Stephen.
Can't hear you, Peggy.
Stephen.
Yes.
You like that introduction? Take it away, my friend.
That's a fun introduction there for sure.
Well, when you're a theater major like me, I had to do something special for a theater major like you.
I appreciate you, Peggy. Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here. Anywhere where there's people, then I get to do what I do. Because what I do is whether I know you for a minute, 5 minutes, an hour, a day, a week, a month, a year, 5 years, or your entire life. It is my ambition, goal, desire, and hope that your life would be better and that you would become a more effective human being because we met. That is it in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. I have no other agenda, ideas, concepts, principles that drive me. That is all I am. Just a person here on planet Earth taking my next breath and hopefully teaching you how to take your next breath with intention in such a way that you would carry on the torch, hopefully making it your goal to meet people and think, hey, whether I know you for a minute, 5 minutes, an hour, a day, a week, a month, a year, 5 years of your entire life, I want you to be a better person and have a more effective, joy-filled life and teach others to do the same because we met. That is the purpose of life, in my opinion. I don't think there's anything else to do. I think everything else is a subtext. So I thought long and hard about what I should share with you today because, well, I can speak on a lot of different subjects. And so raise your hand if you deal with people. Go ahead, just anybody. All right, good. We all deal with people. Fantastic. Truth of the matter is this. Everybody here has the same things in common. You all impact and influence the people that you already impact and influence. That is what you do. You wake up in the morning and whoever is in your life, you impact and you influence them. That's what you do. Maybe it's negative, maybe it's positive, maybe it's whatever, but it doesn't matter. Any person that's in your life, you impact and you influence them. You might even love them. What is love? Concept of love is you should want what's best for every person you come in contact, which is the idea of whether you know a person for a minute, 5 minutes, an hour, a day, a week, month. You get the idea. So what do you all want? You all have that in common as well. You all want to impact and influence more people. that's what you want to do. We have this in common as the human race. If this was not true, then I would meet people all the time and say, well, you know, the truth is, Stephen, I have my job, I do this, and these are the people in my life, and that's it. I'm not going to go to any more parties and meet any more people. If I do go to a party, I want to make sure that I don't meet anybody else. This is it. This is my circle. These are the people that I already work with and do things with, and that's it. That's my life, and I'm happy with that, and I'm satisfied. Not one time in my travels, in my experience, have I ever encountered any person saying this to me. Therefore, if you know that that's what you're going to do, you're going to want to be intentional about how that actually takes place. It's the difference between waking up in the morning and reacting and responding to everything that happens to you in life versus saying, hey, because of what I desire in life, I'm going to do this. I'm going to say this. I'm going to be around these people. I'm going to do these particular things. We call this intentionality. In my whole platform, I teach people how to be intentional, idealistically, theoretically, of course. You can be intentional about everything that you do and say all of the time. And if it's not your intention to want what's best for people and to love them and to serve them, then what are you doing? If you're not doing that, then what you're doing is you're taking from them. You're using them. You're manipulating them. You're in their lives for what you can get. And I'm not saying that people are like this intentionally. I'm saying that because they're not intentional, to make sure that they are specifically
Put the other one in.
and caring about the people.
Now I have to do couch shopping.
That's fine.
This is very nice.
Thank you, I think. So that's kind of the basic idea behind it. So what I want to do is I want to give you some tools that'll give you the ability. Raise your hand if you love people. Just raise your hand. Go ahead. Right? Now, raise your hand if you know the difference between generally loving people and specifically loving people. Yes, Peggy, go ahead. What's the difference between generally loving people and specifically loving people? You're on mute.
Yes,
14, 15.
and so somebody else. So specifically, for instance, if when you're married, there's a specific person that you have a complete intention around, and you could be somebody, let's say, that goes to church and you love all the participants in the church.
Fantastic. So you said the magic word there. Did you everybody hear it? Intentionality. That's the difference between generally loving people and specifically loving people. Because everybody on planet Earth, like, I generally love people. I care about them. I want what's best for them. I hope the world does better things. I wish the homeless weren't homeless. I wish the people that didn't have fresh water to drink had fresh water to drink. I wish the people that had inequality didn't have any inequality in their lives. I wish the governments would do more things. I wish people would be better taken care of, yada, 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 yada. Intentionality is not just generally thinking those things. Intentionality is specifically making your next decision and your next breath based upon this concept. I am who I am in this moment, and I get the opportunity and the privilege of taking another breath. What am I going to do with it? In this moment, what is a good way to love, reach out, care for, serve, and help as many people as possible right now? When you start thinking that way, you move into the world of awareness. You start thinking, I'm going to think that way. The more you try to think that way, the more you realize how selfish you actually are. The more you realize that you don't think that way. I have done this with thousands of people, and everybody has come back to me and said, this is the hardest exercise I've ever had to do. This was their exercise. Their exercise was the next day to see 5 people, just a stranger, somebody across a school campus, somebody in their business. And you just had to look at them for 30 seconds without them knowing and think, I want what's best for that person for 30 seconds. That's it. That was their assignment. And they had to do that with 5 people. That was it. It was their only assignment. This is when I was teaching college. So I knew I was going to see these kids in 2 days. So that was their assignment. They're supposed to come back 2 days later and say, this is what I experienced. Every single one of my students over years and years and years of doing this said, this is the hardest thing they've ever had to do. They were completely unaware that they did not know how to think intentionally of thinking good things about other people. We just don't do it. We survive, we exist, we get by. What does this have to do with you? You're all in business,
Yeah.
right? Evil capitalism, they call it, right? These concepts, right?
Oh, that's just TV shows.
Well, I'm going to dispel this, and I'm going to teach you a few things about how to think differently about this. All right, you ready? I was in network marketing. I had my own network marketing company. You won't even find it. It doesn't exist. We lost everything. And we also lost our entire community and our entire network because we got swindled from the inside and nobody trusted us after that. Therefore, you can go online and you can look up Stephen Harms's network marketing company experience. There's nothing there. It's all gone. It's all wiped. It doesn't exist because we started our lives over. Here's the thing that we learned from this, though. If you have a concept, an idea, a principle, a service, or a business that is not good for you, your family, your community, your city, your county, your state, the country, or the world, then you have no business being in business. If you have a product or service that you would not give away for free to every person on planet because you just wanted their lives to be better, then you are not offering them anything. You are taking from them and making money from them because you've convinced them that they need something that they don't actually need. That is the opposite of love. So if you're going to be in business, you got to think differently. We need to start thinking differently about who we are as entrepreneurs. And here's why. Ladies and gentlemen, the governments of the world are not going to take care of us. The religious organizations are not going to take care of us. The 501c3 nonprofit charities are not doing their jobs. It's not going to work. It is up to average Joes and Josephines from all around the world that now must step up their game and become entrepreneurs because they believe that is the best way to love, reach out, care for, serve, and help as many people as possible. And if you combine this attitude and this concept with your business, you will help a lot of people. If you don't combine this with your business, then you are using people and using communities simply so you can make money. That is not sustainable and will not work. So raise your hand again if you really care about people and love people. Just go ahead. Do people know? Because that's what I'm going to actually show you. This is the real trick. How do you get somebody to know that you care about them right away?
By doing things that they
No.
care about.
The first time somebody meets you, you have to convince them within 30 seconds to a minute that you want what's best for them. And you can't open every speech and every statement and every sale by saying, hey, I really care about you. That won't work. But if you learn to have the intention of thinking, I want what's best for this person, you will start to realize that sometimes you don't. you will start to realize that if you're going to have that thought, you have to train yourself to have that thought, and it has to be intentional, and it has to be consistent, and you have to keep it. As a result of that, you will also start to learn that there are certain physical things that you do that contradict your love and desire to want what's best for the other person. I'm talking about smiling. My main business is I teach people how to smile when they talk. That is what I do. That is the main thing that I do. And I'll just talk about this for 3 minutes and then I'll take questions. It's simple. If you smile more, you're basically laughing.
Mhm.
Now, if you go online, you will find all kinds of things online that say that it's bad to mouth breathe. To breathe in and out through your mouth. Ladies and gentlemen, I mouth breathe all the time. That's all I do. If I didn't smile when I talk, this is what I would look like. And if you met me like this, you would not think that I cared about you, simply because I'm not smiling. What am I doing? I'm starting every phrase with my mouth open. I take a breath. I stay open as I talk. And when I finish, I stop open so that I can take a new breath for the next phrase and keep going. But you don't know this because I smile. And you don't know that that's what I'm actually doing. My voice never gets tired. I never have to warm up my voice. I never get sore throats. I'm smiling all of the time. I have a higher immune system because of this. We can talk more about that. I have a higher metabolism because of this. We can talk about that. I have more resonance that runs through my body, which circulates everything and keeps me from getting sick. We can talk more about that. And I have now proven that if you do this intentionally, I call it the IMDb profile. Everybody know what IMDb is? If you go on, I have an IMDb profile. I was in Frozen and Star Wars and stuff like that. Intentionally mouth deep breathing. If you are intentional to mouth breathe, you're basically laughing. And if you laugh more, you live longer. And if you sing more, you live longer. And if you deep breathe more, you live longer. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm 187 years old. No, I'm kidding. I am aging slower and I'm going to live longer. In the meantime, people know that I care about them. People know that I want what's best for them simply because I smile. Think of your relationships. What kind of relationships are you in? If you smiled more, would not improve your relationship. That is what I teach. That is what I do. I do it by deep breathing in a very, very specific way. I have an entire class that does this, and I teach it to you. And my guarantee is that if you take my class one-on-one or the course itself, if it doesn't change your life, not your voice, then it's free. And I have a 100% success rate. Why? Because I'm in the business of changing lives. Because whether I know you for a minute, 5 minutes, an hour, a day, a week, a month, a year, 5 years of your entire life, I want your life to be better and for you to have a higher experience as a human being and to be a more effective soul here on planet Earth. My name is Stephen A. Harms, and I will never be done speaking. Thank you.
I love it. You should put your information in the chat. That would be really great.
I didn't think about that.
So before COVID, when we were out all the time, one of the things that I intentionally did every time I was out walking and meeting someone is to find something about them to compliment them on. And the response of just saying something like, I like your tie, or you have pretty lovely eyes, or you have a nice smile or something, people would say, oh, you just made my day. Like, my intention was not to make their day, but my intention was to be friendly and acknowledge something lovely about that person. It's really nice to do that. It's so easy. I know your 30-second thing It's really easy to do that. It does take
really is.
practice.
It really, really is.
Mm.
So anyway, that's my thing. This is what I do. And I am honored to be here. And I will take questions. You can ask me any questions you want at all. Go ahead. I'm here.
I have a question, if it's okay.
Of course it's okay. Please ask your question.
This is Marcy.
Hello, Marcy.
Hi. Stephen, I've just been thinking about this for the past couple of days because I've been introduced to or shown people who were presented to me as, oh, this person is great and they're so competent in what they do. And I've listened to the person talk and say, yeah, I have this program and I'm really out to help you. And they talk like this and I'm so frustrated. So my question is, how can I very politely say what you are saying? Smile more so that I can believe in you and trust you. Otherwise, forget it. Next.
Are you asking me, how do you start applying this right now?
No, I know how to apply it because I'm very conscious of the fact that because I've gotten feedback that I look good when I smile.
Mm-hmm.
I try to do this over the phone as well. When I pick up the phone, smile because it's somehow it translates over the phone when you smile.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm trying to find out is how to get that point across to other people without being rude, impolite, etc.
So in life, the only thing you have is your next breath. Would you agree with that?
My next what?
Breath.
Oh, yes.
That's it. We don't think enough about that. We just don't. We don't, because if you really think about it, your body really only has one job, and that is to make sure that you take another breath. The body's job is to keep you alive, and the way that it does that is by making sure that you take another breath. That's it. So the question you have to ask yourself is, if you understand that principle so completely and so specifically, then you would eventually come to the conclusion that the best way for you to love all people all of the time is to ensure that you do everything that you can to make sure that you take another breath, which means you would be prioritizing you. You would be prioritizing your health. You would be prioritizing making sure that you take care of yourself personally.
It's 14:30.
That you breathe in an optimal way that makes it so that your body circulates and does everything that it needs to do. That you would drink tons of water.
Yeah.
That you would be exercising. And that when you put food in your body, that it would be food. And things that would give you a better chance at being healthy and not things that put you in the bathroom for 3 to 5 hours. You'd be making sure that you get sleep. You'd be stretching. But you wouldn't be doing this because you're vain. You wouldn't be doing this because you're narcissistic. You would be doing this because you recognize that if you don't take another breath, that you can't help anybody. You can't do anything for anybody unless you take the next breath. Therefore, the most loving thing a person can do is to make sure that they do everything they can to make sure that they take another breath. What do we call this in layman's term? One of the ancient texts says this: take the log out of your own eye before you take the speck out of your brother's eye. And the principle behind this is make sure that when you're challenging the world on whatever it is you're challenging them on, whatever that happens to be, whatever you want to say, hey, whatever that is, that you are looking at your own life and going, okay, am I watching the way that I live my life? Am I the most loving person that I can possibly be? Am I constantly intentional to make sure that I'm taking care of everybody and anybody everywhere I go all of the time? Do I think that way? And the way that I think that way, honestly, is this: I am not on planet Earth for me. That's it, in a nutshell. I don't think of myself as being here like, this is for me. This is my life. This is what I get to do. This is my experience. If you think that way, then you're never again going to say, how do I get this person to understand? Because you're going to recognize, you know what? If this person doesn't understand, there's lots of other people that will. I'm going to spend time with the people that do understand and will listen and will take my words. There's a very ancient text about this. It says, don't cast your pearls before swine. Why? Concept was this. Somebody's going around, they're helping people. He says, hey, time is limited and there's no cell phones and we have to walk everywhere. And it takes like 10 miles to get from one place to the next. Therefore, if the people that are listening to you where you are aren't listening, and you think that what you say is the most loving, valuable thing that everybody needs to hear, not just them, then forget about them and move on to people that will listen.
Mm. And then what about mirroring? So Marcy, when you're sitting there listening, are you smiling at this person? Because a lot of, I mean, when I was walking through the street and I would smile at somebody, they always smiled back. I would test that to see if I smile, will they smile back? And yep, sure enough, it's very interesting that a smile is so contagious.
It really, really is. And the truth of the matter is it's more than that. It's way, way more than just that.
Well,
In 2022, I am going to launch, and I've already started launching this campaign, Smile More, Live Longer. The smile is everything. It's basically, like I said, a relaxed laugh, and it's the solution to everything. It truly, truly is. And I actually break this down in my program. By the way, I am going to put a link in there, and anybody that wants to come to my class is more than welcome to do so.
Thank you.
Just wanted to clarify one thing. Sometimes I'm not able to do it because we're on a Zoom call and I'm not, and if I smile and someone else is talking, they're not necessarily going to see me smile, you know.
That's true. But you know what? You can only be responsible for what you can be responsible for. I don't know how to explain that to people other than that. We spend way too much time. Look, we live in a world where literally there's 7 billion people on planet Earth, and we have an audience of the entire world, potentially, which means for the first time in world history, the word neighbor means nearby. It means somebody you can literally touch and impact and influence immediately right now. That's what a neighbor is. Because of social media, because of technology, for the first time for about a decade in world history, everybody in the world is now my neighbor, which means I don't have to spend time with anybody that doesn't care about what I have to say, ever. I just don't have to do it, because there's plenty of people out there that will take my love and take my advice and take the thoughts that I'm sharing with them and will value it. And that's where we are now.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Yes, we are. You might say we're a shrinking world because of that.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
It's true.
Very, 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 very true. So.
Does anybody have any other comments or questions for Stephen? Or
I can answer questions about anything.
And Stephen could probably talk for the next 10 years too.
That's
Because
awesome.
he's got music going on in his head and all those notes can come out as words. Actually, that is kind of what you do anyway, isn't it?
It really is. I think if you all of you can ask me any question you want. You might be amazed at some of the information that I actually have access to. That includes also communities. There's a if we think about community differently and we start thinking about it and imagining it for what it actually is and what it accomplishes, think about it this way. A community is where two or more people work together or are willing to work together for the common benefit of each other and their communities. That's what community actually is. And if we think about it that way, then we, as the average Joes and Josephines, can solve the world's problems. So, anyway, I might put my link for my Sociotap in there. It allows you to have a Zoom conference with me or sign up for the class or come coach with me one-on-one or just ask me questions. I mean, in truth, I just, I'm here for you guys. I have the next breath. That's what I have. So Jazz, if you have any questions, you can be anything. You can even ask me about singing or how does he project his voice that way all the time? Can he do accents? Like, how does he do accents? Is that something he does as well? Like, was he a minion? Yes, I was a minion. I was a minion and just anybody can do whatever they want with their voices and with their lives, as long as they're willing to be intentional about it.
Well, I will just say, I do have a question for you.
Go Jazz! Love your voice. Your name, by the way. That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
My question is, okay, so I absolutely love smiling. I think it's very good for the soul, good for the mind, good for the body. So someone like me or a person that generally smiles, when you're being direct with someone or in a serious setting, so my question is, how would you convey that smile and at the same time assert some, directness or
Great question. That is a great question. I get asked that question all of the time. Okay, so first of all, think of your life. Okay, so we have to start with a baseline. Okay, if you were starting your life over now, would you start over with the personality you have now, or would you modify it? Would you change it? Would you decide, you know what? The people of the world know me like this. I've kind of got RBF. I call it the RIP face, which means resting intense profile, or you're dead, rest in peace. Right? It means something else as well, but we won't talk about it. Or would you be a person that's like, you know what? Hey guys, so good to see you. What's going on? If you could start over, how would you present yourself? That's the first question you have to ask yourself. Do you want to be a person that is known as happy and joyful? Or are you going to rest on the idea when I teach people to smile, they're like, you know what, that just doesn't feel authentic to me. I don't smile a lot and it feels fake. And I think you're fake too. But nobody ever says that to me, because think of it. The people that you only know 0.0000001 of the population of planet Earth. But the people that you want to reach is 99.99999999999. Those are all the people that if you showed up tomorrow and went like, hey guys, how are you? Would assume that that's how you are. The only things that are against you are all of the people that already know you, that if you're like this today, and tomorrow all of a sudden you're like, I'm gonna start trying to smile more. They'd be like, why are you smiling? What's wrong? Something wrong? Are you okay? Because it's different. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your greatest obstacle.
How about ourselves being our worst obstacle because we don't think we look right or our hair's not or whatever, some excuse.
Your greatest obstacle are all the people that already know you. Because they're going to be like, oh my gosh, you're trying to change? Stop that. Right? Yeah. Your other obstacle are all of the things that you've been doing in your life unintentionally. Okay, so now, Jazz, to answer your question, it would be very weird for me to be like, even though you're just meeting me today, do you really think that I'd be like, your dog died? That sucks, man. Wow. Oh my gosh, you love that dog. What? I wouldn't do that. Right? That's not something that I'm going to do. I'm not going to do that, but I'm not going to do this either. Oh, your dog died? Oh, so sorry. I'm not going to do that either. I'm going to do this. First, I have my smile because this is who I am. I'm a happy, joyful, hopeful,
confident person.
And I train well, confidence comes from con fide. C-O-N, con, fide. Fide means truth or veracity. In other words, confidence is presenting yourself truthfully. That's what it actually is. This is me. This is who I am. So here's the thing. If your dog dies, I'm still me, but I'm going to be like this to you. First, I'm like this. I wouldn't be like, oh, your dog died. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to smile, but watch my face. See how I'm still kind of smiling, but I have hope. Your dog died? So sorry. Yeah, I know you love that dog. I understand. But see, I'm still smiling. But it's not a smile. It's hope. I'm not despondent. I'm not at all, because life goes on. And we have to have hope no matter what happens. Am I going to mourn with those who mourn? Absolutely. Am I going to be there for my children and for my wife or my girlfriend or my mom or my brother? Of course I am. Of course I am. But I'm always going to have hope. I'm always going to believe in the best, because remember, I'm not here for me. And so the answer to your question is, Jazz, in these situations, you learn to adjust. You do, but you don't lose you. I'm still me. I'm not going to change me so that they feel more comforted. That defeats the whole purpose of being in relationships and being in connection and community with people. We need to be ourselves, but we need to know who we are. One of the things that I teach is how to be powerful. I'm actually creating a book. It's like how to be powerful, like, because everybody wants power, right? You don't think about it. I want power. But truthfully, the more power you have, the more people you can love. It's that simple. The main point of power is this. If you're powerful, when people meet you, they want to be you. And if you don't want to be you, then why would anybody else want to be you? So to remind myself of this, I tell people all the time, I am the richest man in the world. I just forget sometimes. Because I am. But if your dog dies, I'm not going to be like, hey, you know what? It's fine. You'll get another dog. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be sympathetic to you. But I'm not going to come down to a level of like, I'm not going to let it physically affect my life. Because I need my life
It's
to go love the next person.
14:45.
And I can't be all things to all people if I allow myself to become emotionally involved or captured with one individual.
Absolutely. Very, very well said.
Thank you.
Mike, you have any questions or comments at all?
I do not. I like what you've had to say though, Stephen, because it's so true in how we build relationships, you know, that building that trust, like you said, so immediate, or having that first 30 seconds of you know, so I always try, you know, Zoom has been one of those platforms over the last several months where you've been able to meet more people and interact with people. And, you know, a lot of sales training from years past has helped say, hey, you know, wow, what's that picture behind you? I really like that, you know, and you can really start to build that rapport, and smiling is so important. So I appreciate everything you had to say. Thanks. Thanks for having me today.
You are so welcome.
Kevin, Mike, we have our two Lisas. Do either of you have a question for or a comment to Mike?
By the way, I did put my phone number in there too, if you guys want to reach me that way.
That'll be great. Thanks.
It's my Google Voice number. I got 8 infinity voice, which I thought was fine. 88 voice. So Mike, I really appreciate you being here. Thank you for your encouragement and support. I love it.
Lisa or Lisa?
I will go, Lisa Prince. this is very, very good for me because I grew up in a home that being thoughtful was not to smile. So, and that is something that I have for a long time have been trying to get rid of, that thinking of smiling and laughter meant that my grandmother always said empty vessels make most noise, and that was something that she used to say. So if you're giggling and laughing and having fun, she would come by and say empty vessels make most noise. So and I as an adult had to really reprogram myself. So I'm very conscious of laughter and smiling, and even very conscious of letting my children know that it's okay. So this is really reaffirming.
That's great, Lisa. Thank you. I appreciate that. Look, I don't want to sugarcoat this at all, you guys. The truth of the matter is if I teach you to smile more, you'll live longer. I mean, but that's how it is. It's that simple. But you'll also make more sales. And let me show you something really quick. I teach something called the sales voice. Okay. And the sales voice is an acronym because I love acronyms. SALES. You ready? When you speak slower. Always talk slower. Okay. Also, when you speak authoritatively. Make sure that your voice is a lower, deeper, darker sound, and then it has an open, resonant quality that gives authority. Also, make sure that you don't edit your life. You're the author of your life. Nobody wants to be the editor of their own book. They want to be the author of their own book. You also want to be the author of your own life. So speak authoritatively. Also speak longer. Don't have words like this where you chop up everything, because that's what people do sometimes. But if you elongate your words and they're more connected, then it's better. Also, energetically. Speak energetically. Have energy, which obviously comes from love. And of course, the last S is, you guessed it, speak smiling. This is the sales voice, SALES. Not coincidentally, to do these 5 things when you speak and create sound, you must breathe deeper. You have to take deeper breaths, which is really what I teach people how to do. I teach you how to breathe deeper than you ever thought possible in your body. If you do that, you will basically be doing what I call a body laugh, which means you will be laughing throughout your entire day. And if you laugh all day long, guess what? You're going to live longer, and you're going to smile, because you cannot you can't laugh without smiling. So if you think of these principles, and so I thank you, Lisa. I'm glad that this is valuable for you, but I really want to let you see what the true value is. The true value is learning how to deep breathe, smile, live longer, be healthier, have people, and this is really key. When you smile, when you meet people, if you're smiling, they will believe that you care about them more than if you do not smile. So if you're one of those people that really cares about people, but you don't feel like you come across that way, or if you were to ask people, that's actually an exercise I give. If you think you care about people, ask the people around you, ask your relatives, ask your friends, say, hey, do I come across like I care about you when we talk? They're all going to say no, because they're with you a lot. But the truth is if you smile more, people automatically will assume more often than not that you care about them. So if that's something you want to communicate, then I would encourage you to smile more. Look, I'm looking around the room, right? I could call out names. You're all like this.
Just like that.
Not only this has become so prolific, women are now offended. Like, why do I have to smile more? Men are always telling me that I have to smile more. Like, what is that all about? Men, raise your hand if you're more attracted to women when they smile.
And vice versa, we're more attracted
I'm
to men when they
telling you.
smile.
This is the key to everything. All of your relationships, everything that you do. If you haven't signed up for my class, then I don't know what you're waiting for. I'm just kidding. I'm not here to sell my class. I just wanted to make your lives better. But you can join my class if you'd like. We're starting another one in March, I think.
Hey, Stephen, quick question, if I
Yes.
can, before the hour's up. So I actually love what you say. I think I've always been kind of complimented as being one of the most happy-go-lucky guys.
Yeah,
that
Doug,
most
show
people
your
know.
smile. Doug, show
Uh,
your smile.
Unfortunately, I can't. I'm driving, and it's just not.
Okay.
Yeah. So but the thing that I want to ask, just to follow up to Jazz's question, is I understand what you meant in the terms of being empathetic, but I do find there are times in which you're not necessarily in an aggressive situation. Well, I guess that you could be, but times where you are in a more assertive situation. I've even gotten feedback from my wife because oftentimes my first instinct, if there's a stressful situation, is to either smile or to laugh before going into it. And
Good.
she'll come back and say, "What are you laughing at? There's nothing
Got
funny
it.
about that." Right? But that's just kind of my first reaction. Some people's first reaction is to immediately get angry. Mine is to kind of lighten the situation, but then I will go into it. And the smile goes away. So how do you navigate that? I understand about hey, I want to be upbeat. I want to make people know that they care. I think people feel that I care about them, even though I'm not smiling, but I want to get your perspective.
Sure. Well,
on those.
one of the things that I teach, and this is really key, is if you're not a person that smiles a lot, if I taught you how to smile and you practice it for once a day for an hour, right? If you practice it for an hour a day, how long is it going to take to change the habit? Forever. You'll never do it. Because the rest of the time, you're not smiling.
Yeah.
And whichever habit you use the most is the one that wins. So I learned that I can't just teach people how to smile. I have to give them the tools of breathing that'll give their body the ability to smile while they're talking and creating sound. But also, while I'm listening to you, notice I'm smiling.
Yeah.
Because I'm keeping the same pressure in my body and literally keeping the pressure as if I'm laughing while you're talking. So if I keep that habit, and just be honest, which one has more power? Hey, hey, Dave, did you brush your teeth? You have to go to bed now. Did you brush your teeth? or does this have more power? Did you brush your teeth? Hey, you need to brush your teeth and go to bed. Which one has more power? Which one has more power?
That first one.
That's right. Because the first one shows that I have the power. I don't need to emotionalize what I say to convince anybody to do what I want them to do. I don't need to do that. But you, all of us, we do that already. So to learn to not do it, you have to intentionally learn to not do it, which means whether you like it or not, I've got to teach you how to breathe differently. Because unless you breathe differently, you will not be able to change the way that you are presenting yourself to the world. It's just not possible. And I've seen people try to do it that go through my program. It won't work. You have to change the way you breathe. You have to do it. Because if you don't change the way that you breathe, your breath is connected to how you feel and to your habits and to everything that you've done for a decade or 2 decades or 3 decades or 4 decades, or I don't want to disrespect anybody. However long you've been decadent.
Decadent.
Isn't that fun? That's fun.
That's fun. I have an accountability person. She says, smile, laugh at the joke. You can get it later.
Look, the truth is this. if I had the ability to just teach this to the entire world for free, I would do it in a heartbeat because I want everybody to know. Right? The truth is, though, even though I'm an opera singer and even though I was in movies and stuff like that, nobody knows who I am. Right? I have to market myself and promote myself on social media just like everybody else. But the other thing, one of the other things that I teach in my platform is this, is when you present, you are also a present. You're a gift. And if you keep your gift from the world and then you're gone, then they did not get your gift. So if you're not journaling, you need to start yesterday. If you're not writing every day and you're not leaving some sort of content for other people, then why do you even share your thoughts with going out to coffee? Oh, I have to give you my opinion about so-and-so and politics and stuff like that. If you're not willing to write it down, why are you talking about it? Because that person that you're talking about, that's going to be gone. But if you wrote it down, it would be there forever. So if there's something you really care about and you want the world to know about it, write it down. Make a video, make content, create something that's going to last after you're gone. Because another point of power, one of the other things that I teach is you're powerful if you live forever.
Wow.
And you only live forever if you write about yourself or other people write about you. You only live forever if you make content of yourself or other people make content of you. You only live forever if your ideas are so prolific and so strong that other people share them with other people and say, hey, you need to listen to what this person has to say. And every movement in the world started with a voice, and then a community of people got built behind that voice. And it was the community of people that made sure that that voice was heard, not the voice.
And on that note, thank you, Stephen, very much. We are at the top of the hour, and thank goodness that all those people wrote their journals, because we have some amazing books to read. So thank you so much for coming on the show, Stephen.
Wonderful.
Love to have you come back again sometime.
Absolutely.